Welcome everyone to a new gameplay series on Ultimate General Gettysburg. This is a tactical real-time strategy game about the Battle of Gettysburg, of course, in the American Civil War. So since I posted my intent to play this about a week and a half ago on a channel update, the funny thing is Ultimate General Civil War has been released into early access. So I guess that's not a full release, but at least it's available. And that appears to be, from what I've seen, a very good game and probably a better version of Gettysburg in every way. So my original plan was to do this series on a Union playthrough of the Gettysburg and then switch over to the Confederate side. That might be modified a little bit now. We'll have to see how things go. Well, I have to see even if there's interest in continuing this series, if this series is popular at all. But the idea now might be to switch over to Ultimate General Civil War at the end of this series. Now, I want to mention that this is going to be a slower start or a slower series, I guess in general, that I play slower on my channel. But also, I'm going to stop and smell the roses. I want to talk a little bit about the historical background to Gettysburg. I want to talk about anything historical, like any references I can make there when they appear. So maybe on day 2 we can talk a little bit about Colonel Chamberlain and the 20th Maine. On day 3 it might be interesting to talk about Lee and sending Pickett. All these things. So it might be a little bit longer of a series in terms of not gameplay, but just even talking about things. So if you want to skip to like the gameplay in this first video, you'll probably have to march all the way forward to the 10-minute mark. And that's about the time I expect to get into the battle itself. I mean, directly into the combat. Until then, we'll be doing the setup and talking about Union versus Confederate soldiers, etc. And actually, with that being said, let's jump right into the background of Gettysburg. So it was the battle which ended up being the turning point in the American Civil War, very clearly. Especially because it happened at almost the exact same time as the siege of Vicksburg coming to a conclusion, with the Union forces there under General Grant capturing the last bastion along the Mississippi River that the Confederates were holding out with. So, you can think of things in really before the mid-1863, and then after mid-1863, things really went poorly for the South. The Civil War didn't officially end until 1865, but it was all over but the crying by the end of 1863. So why did even Gettysburg happen? What happened that made Lee commit his troops forward, and especially as far north as the Confederate forces would ever get in the Civil War? I think it was inspired by a few things. That first, Vicksburg was under siege, and maybe he was trying to draw off some of the Union focus there. That he wanted possibly even to call that siege to a close by pulling back the Union forces to address his incursion into the north. As we can see from history, that would not have happened, because even by the time the Union really knew that Lee was moving forward, the siege of Vicksburg was coming to a close. So Gettysburg was July 1st to 3rd, and Vicksburg, the siege of Vicksburg, concluded on the 4th. So they didn't know at the time that Gettysburg had been fought and lost, but that's still the time when the Confederate forces, I can't remember under who. I mean, I can almost picture the name, but it's not coming to me. Was it like Stuart or something? Surrendered. Okay, so another reason why is, the reason why he was doing what he was doing in the North, Lee, was raiding supplies. He wanted to go and attack at Harrisburg. He wanted to commandeer the big supply production center over there that they had. So that was his mission, was to bounce up through a few key Union supply centers. And I don't know if he was really intending on disrupting supplies as much as just making a political statement. So you can consider that two or three reasons, either for raiding supplies or maybe a political reason, in addition to relieving the stress at Vicksburg. And I don't know which of those three, or if even those are the three I've heard about. I haven't studied a lot Lee's motivations for moving, but I suspect it was one of those three, and more likely it was a combination of some of those three. Another thing I'm going to talk about, I guess I'll pause my historical discussion for a moment, and we'll look at the different sides you can play. I will be playing as the Union, and let me read these both real fast, just so we have an idea of what the difference between the Union and the Confederates are in this game, which, I mean, it's inspired by history for sure. The Union deploys efficient artillery, better drilled infantry, and better equipment in their battles in order to tackle the enemy with orderly and intense fire. However, most Union generals are uninspiring compared to their Confederate Army leaders. This causes poor performance in close combat and average morale. Confederate soldiers are universally high-spirited and courageous. They are able to sustain heavy fire without breaking and are hard, experienced troops. Confederate equipment is, though, less advanced compared to Union, and they lack professional military training, leading to a disadvantage in prolonged engagements at range. So as playing as the Union, we're really going to want to set up camp on open hillsides. Especially important is the hillsides that forces the Confederates to run up to us if they're going to do one of their charges. No doubt led by or prefaced with the infamous Rebel Yell. We'll be playing as the Union though, and the next thing I have to decide is what difficulty to put the AI on. And I've debated a lot about this. I've only played through the campaign as the Union once, and in fact I've only played through the whole entire series as the Union. I never completed a Confederate playthrough. But I've experimented with some of the different battles, trying to figure out what difference these things makes. And what I'm actually going to do is put it on random. This, in my opinion, might be even more difficult than putting it on determined. So this is a pretty difficult, I mean, the difficulty is up and down, the vertical axis, and aggressiveness is left and right. So if you have like a risky opponent, this might actually be to your advantage. Aggressiveness does not necessarily mean it's good to be aggressive. I mean, if you're being stupidly aggressive, it can really backfire in a monumental way. So determined is probably the best. Determined or dynamic are probably the two hardest difficulty settings. But I think random might be even more difficult because you don't know what you're going to face. If you have a determined opponent, when you see them move off to a flank, you know that they're probably trying to flank you. If you have it on random, you don't know if they're making a mistake and luring your forces off for a reason that you're just misinterpreting their action. So I'm going to go with the random instead, which I will have absolutely no idea what I'm up against. So it's going to be very exciting for me. So that being said, the last thing I want to talk about before we actually jump into the battle is we talk about General Lee, and he was such an amazing commander through the Civil War. One of the best generals in American history. So how did he end up losing the Battle of Gettysburg? And I think part of the reason is, I don't want to dump all the blame on anybody. Lee himself would take all the credit for the loss, all the blame. But General Stuart was his cavalry commander and really in charge of reconnaissance for Lee. Up until this point, a lot of the good decisions Lee made could be at least partly attributed to very good knowledge of the Union forces, knowing what he was up against and where the Union was coming from. Now that doesn't mean that he was any less intelligent for knowing how to react to those situations, but at least knowing more information about the situation was an advantage to Lee. However, in this push to the north, General Stuart was the commander of his cavalry. Lee commanded Stuart, "Keep in contact, stay close to me, let me know what's going on." However, right on the initial push out from Virginia, Stuart was actually caught by surprise by a Union cavalry who had the same idea, to keep tabs on the Confederate army. And it was the biggest cavalry engagement of the war. But although there was no clear victor, I think it just turned into a disengagement after some time. Stuart was really embarrassed that he was caught by surprise. I mean, he didn't lose the battle, but his pride was hurt. And because of this, it inspired him to go on this raid of the supplies. Like, we're going to go around the Union Army and we're going to sack their supplies. And it's pretty widely believed to be Stuart's way of compensating for that surprise, that he was very embarrassed and he wanted to make up for it. Unfortunately, in his push to raid Union supplies, he left Lee totally blind to the Union forces. And Lee's even quoted as asking common soldiers, "Have you seen General Stuart? Have you seen the cavalry?" And it just shows the importance that Lee put on reconnaissance. And it was a huge misunderstanding between him and Stuart. Really, you'd have to say Stuart's fault because Lee communicated himself clearly. Even Stuart, when he came back, when Gettysburg they were being set in place for the battle. After, basically at the end of day one, I think Stuart found Lee, and the battle had already begun. People were putting up their positions. Essentially, the troops were committed. Stuart comes up to Lee. All he has to show for his time, I mean, not all, 200, he commandeered 200 wagons. And that's no small feat. But as Stuart approaches Lee, I think he knew that Lee was very disappointed. Probably Lee even expressed it with, some visual cue. But although Lee was the definition of a gentleman, very rarely said anything poor about anybody. So Stuart comes up and probably preemptively, knowing that he's in trouble, as a kid might do, well, I have these 200 wagons for you. And Lee has this really beautiful quote. It really summed up the situation well. When he said to Stuart, "General, they are an impediment to me now." So he knew that these 200 wagons, although they were some minor distraction to the Union forces, if they were to lose this battle, there's no way that these extra wagons, they could even pull them with them. They're not going to be useful. They're just more that we have to take with us. And the battle which we need to fight well, that we needed to do the correct reconnaissance for, that has all been a failure because of these 200 wagons. So that's my last little historical blurb before we jump into the game. Okay, so we have the initial situation is this encounter. By the way, it's amusing to know that the Gettysburg conflict started by Confederate forces were going into Gettysburg. They knew that there was a shoe factory or a shoe store there, and they were going to just acquire a shoe for themselves. They wanted some shoes. That's how this conflict got off the ground. Now they went in and they encountered the Gettysburg garrison, and this first little encounter happened. Confederate brought up their forces. The Union rallied for their forces, but all they had was a small cavalry group, just a garrison basically in the town. So the victory points you see here are 1 here, 2, 3, 4. I think there's one other point. I don't know if this is exact. Well, when we hit fight, we'll be able to see, because this is Oak Ridge. There's probably another victory point down here. That's Seminary Hill. Yeah, there is one more up to the north, which is Oak Hill. This is Oak Ridge, Seminary Hill, and then we have Oak Hill up to the north. So those three are going to be the victory points we're fighting over. Let's read the description and then we'll get into it. 2 Confederate brigades are ready to advance on Gettysburg. Your mission is to delay them until the Army of the Potomac arrives and occupies the high ground south of the town. More enemy reinforcements are expected to join the attack. You will only have a few cavalry units at your disposal, but 1st Corps is close to Gettysburg and will soon join your forces. Your mission is to hold as many locations as possible to delay the Confederate advance and attempt to drive them back to Hare Ridge. This is Hare Ridge, and I think driving them back to that is an absolute impossibility. McPherson Ridge, which is our starting position, is a good starting defensive position. Seminary Ridge, down here, must be held at all costs because it protects your reinforcement route. If you lose all of the locations, you lose the Battle of Gettysburg early. Good luck, General. So you can see that our starting forces, we are gravely outnumbered in every way. The only small advantage we have is that some of these troops are in terms of these small vedettes. Now these vedettes are they're just supposed to be scouting reconnaissance. We can't even really charge with them. I've tried my darndest to get them to charge cavalry, and they don't. They just sit back and fire. And then eventually I even had to like Google search, why are my cavalry not charging? Because you would think that 175 cavalry versus like, we'll see like 80 guns. This is the rock, paper, scissors scheme of things, right? Cavalry beats artillery, artillery beats infantry, infantry beats cavalry. But it's not true. These are so small that they don't even have an effective charge. So we can really only use them to distract. Yeah, but that's it. We'll be at a huge disadvantage, but once the reinforcements arrive, considering we're going to be taking up a defensive position, we should be in better shape. So I'm going to pause right away, and this is what we're up against. Here's the scope of the field. Now, it's my goal to hold Oak Hill almost at all costs. That Devon skirmishers to the north, that's their only task, is to prevent Oak Hill from being taken. Now, in order to do that, there's no way that we'll be able to match up man-to-man with Davis because he's got a 3-to-1 advantage on us. So what we need to do is delay until we can get some regulars in as reinforcements. I'm not as worried about Archer. First of all, I have no idea how the Confederates are going to play. I've only played through this campaign once, and I did that on the normal difficulty rating. So it'll be very interesting to see what kind of random AI we're given. Be very interesting. Now, the first maneuver for me is going to be a flanking one with my scouts. I feel like this is a pretty standard way of operating with your cavalry. Some kind of flanking maneuvers. It's very interesting the way the combat commands are given, where you drag. It feels a lot nicer than just giving waypoints. Devon skirmishers we're going to leave here, but we will ask them to fall back at the moment that they actually take fire from Davis. They're not an important thing for me. I'm always going to be looking at what is their cover rating. So the skirmishers to the south, they're both Gamble skirmishers, so we'll call them 1 and 2. The southern Gamble, they are currently in better cover because they have this forest here, which we want to take advantage of. In fact, I'm even going to move them a little bit more into... And let me hit M to put on the... it's not truly... It's not a perfect... topographical, what is this called? I can't remember the name for putting the lines on. It's not topography. It is, but it's not the correct word. Anyways, putting the height, the elevation grid on, it doesn't work how it would work on an official map where every one of these lines counts for a specific number of feet or yards or whatever this is. Because the best example I can give you is over here. So this is even ground compared to this and this, right? So one jump takes you up to 456, but 1, 2, 3 jumps takes you up to 445. But note that 445 is less than 456, which means that these numbers are not indicating the increase or decrease by a specific number of feet, meters, yards, whatever that is. So it's just important to note that these lines are just kind of indicating a change in elevation. They don't indicate by how much. And they don't indicate up or down. For the longest time, I can never tell, is this down or is this up? I think this is down. I think this is a little valley. So, anyway, just my minor complaint about the topographical map, which I can't remember the contour. This is a contour map. Yeah. And a contour map, I guess, does not need to be exactly by number of feet or whatever. It just is supposed to give terrain contour, but I would much prefer it if these each indicated an exact increase or decrease, so that we would know. I'd be able to map out all the terrain from there, because the 3D it's a little bit difficult to tell. Okay, so now 20 minutes into the game, let's actually pause and let's give Caliph an order to retreat back after his first barrage. Pull up Gamble's a little bit quicker. Oh my God, they're moving quick. So we're gonna have. I have no idea what's going on here. We could be up against an enemy who really knows what they're doing. Let's pull into the slightly better cover of the wheat fields. And then we'll begin engaging Davis. He's off to a very aggressive start. That worries me a lot. Come on, guys. Just basically wheel. I want you to essentially just wheel in your current position. Can I get that to happen? More or less, yeah. We're going to have Gamble support, and we're going to shift the Southern Gambles up a little bit. Come on, wheel, wheel. No, no, no. You guys keep doing your flanking thing. You are very important in your flanking maneuver. Damn it, so we're taking fire. This is already a terrible start. I think, are they charging? What in God's name are you guys doing? Okay, we want you to turn. Buford, you're needed up there. Fall back. They're charging. What in God's name are you guys doing? I wanted you guys to fire, not to attack. Okay, fall back. This is just a horrendous start for us. Just a horrendous one. They are, good God, so aggressive. We're definitely on an aggressive one. Get back in here immediately. Okay, where's my reserves? We need you guys to push in hard on the rear. This is a terrible start for us. We need you guys to engage Davis. Now, we are not in good cover. In fact, they're probably in better cover than us, which is not good. I'm going to have this guy just retreat immediately to the hilltop. So fall back. That has happened so quickly, though. God, they are so aggressive. I'm going to attempt to charge there. God, they're so aggressive. So I think we're playing against a very aggressive AI. Okay, fall back. You guys also need to fall back. They're just charging their troops non-stop. Okay, we probably lost morale. Are we charging? Well, we did knock Zimmerman down to only 31. That's good. Now we're down to 20. Wow, yeah, so we did a really good job with the flanking maneuver here. Fall back. Fall back. Okay, turn. You guys fall back, and we need to turn and support against... Oh, God, they overran my guns. Well, we need those reinforcements like yesterday now. Okay, you guys good? Just retreat. Just retreat. That's fine. You did your job. You did your job. Come back. Okay, hold that hill. Oh, this is bloody. We're going to have to retreat back to this line so quickly, which is horrible. Fall back. Fall back. God, these guys are so... I definitely did not... No, what are you guys doing? Okay, we really need these guys in a hurry. Because we got to hold Oak Ridge. We have to. So, engage. We need to stop Davis from moving. We're going to send our skirmishers out to skirmish. Hopefully that'll get Davis to stop. You guys at the run. I need you here at the run. And I think we're going to have to attack from both sides. Okay. They are obviously moving, turning. Are they turning towards us? Just keep moving. Don't stop, because you don't want to get hit. Let's pause there. How are we doing here? Gamble is engaging. The Iron Brigade, my true heroes. Run. Run, boys, run. We need you in place now. Now, we are hitting them from both sides. Okay, Vedette, you guys are going to just skirmish with the skirmishers to keep them occupied. We're just running around to keep these guys occupied. I don't have any hopes of holding against them. Okay, Cutler's almost into position. We do have some good fire being put down from both sides here. So we have Cutler and the Iron Brigade. So Iron Brigade, where did I send you guys? I don't even know. I think I just sent you here. Let's have you guys hold here. Right here. Caleb get... Oh, no. Oh, I can't control Caleb because they're routing. Cutler needs to take the high ground. Every other skirmisher needs to be attacking. Davis, just to buy us a little bit more time. And these guys are attacking that. Good. This is actually good. I think this is decent. Now, we are continuing to move around. That's good. And we need to get out of here. The reinforcements are being brought up now. Okay, as soon as... Oh, Cutler's actually taking fire. Go ahead and engage. Engage. This will be a very good barrage, though. We should be attacking them from all sides. Iron Brigade's going to form up on the hills. That's perfect. Our cavalry are supposedly... Oh, they're taking the hill. We need them to... So I need all these guys to focus on them. In fact, Devons, you guys get into the... No. So you guys attack. Devon, you guys hold in the woods. Pull back. Just get into cover. Let the vedettes hold for you. Push north. Push north. We have to hold this. We absolutely have to hold this. You guys need to attack these skirmishers. It's okay. We'll take a few casualties here. Oh my god, where's Buford? Buford, go up and save your skirmishers. Get up there. They'll be able to hold just fine. Shift everyone north. We have to hold the north. Buford, quickly. Rally your troops. It looks like we just got that done in time. Now engage. Light them up. Now who's the weaker of these guys? Clearly you. We will send you back to make another run around the enemy forces. And that should be good for us. We have Gamble coming up. Let me pause and take stock of the situation here. So Archer is just going to be annihilated engaging us because we're in very good cover. I actually want us to move back into the forest a little bit more as well. Actually, let me just finish firing first so that we don't... Because we're in a much better situation. They have no cover where they are. And we're firing shots with our cannons at them and everything. So these guys broke. These guys still have a little bit of morale. That's okay. We just need to hold this line, and this skirmishing group will be no match against... Oh god, Caleb's just going to route right off the map, it appears. They won't be any match against our regulars as soon as we can put some regulars up there. Okay, Steven, yeah, we really need you to get over here. If you wouldn't mind. If you wouldn't mind, no, that's actually an order. We got two groups up there. Cooper can hold down Archer. Stewart as well. After one more hit, when they fall back, we'll reposition Cooper. Oh my god, vedettes, what are you guys doing? Alright, so do you guys engage here as well? Continue to engage these forces. They're holding the ground which we need to hold. Oh god, don't run into Pettigrew. No! Oh god. Well, that was a mistake. I wasn't tasking with them well enough. They wouldn't have done that in real life, but that's okay. That's fine. Get all our forces there. No, pull back, vedettes. Actually, they have this exposed group. Is it worth it? Okay. We're moving in to attack before Pettigrew gets there. That should wear out Pettigrew as well. Also, we have more divisions reinforcing us. Oh, this is the big one. Yeah, this is the big one. Archer's just taking massive casualties, though. It's awesome playing against a random AI. I have absolutely no idea if these are intelligent moves or not. If they're like well planned or they're just maybe risky. Are they like doing things which are risky? I don't know. I can't tell. Now, let's be a little bit smart about this. Gamble, you guys go up and flank. We're 2, they're 1. Devon, move up and flank from the other side. One Gamble will hold them down. We're going this way, right? Okay. Now, quickly, boys. Up to the north, and then attack these skirmishers from the side. Everyone engage now. We have to retake that ground. In fact, let me pause real fast, because we need these guys to run, probably. Even though it's running obviously decreases your condition. And you can see the condition ends up being a big problem. Even the Iron Brigade, which barely moved anywhere, is at 55%. So what we need to do is shift north now in a big way. Let's shift these guys there. We probably don't have time to shift Cutler north because they have to defend against Davis. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. We need this to be held. So Davis, you're going to... Cutler, sorry, you're going to run down. Iron Brigade, you guys are going to run up here at the run. At the run. And Paul, you're at the run to move up to the ridge as well. You're a little bit too far behind, so I'll have to wait on you, but And I need somebody to hold this area, so Biddle, you will get there first, actually. And Bucktail, you will hold the south. Which is good because I prefer the units with slightly... well, you do have worse morale, but you have slightly more numbers. Okay, Buford, you're up here. That's good. First Corps, where are you? Gonna need you right up with Cutler when he does his advance, because this is the big one. Him versus Davis. Let's get these vedettes back, man. What are they doing out there? It doesn't really matter. Their job is really to occupy the Confederate attention more than anything else. Okay, but we cannot let them take this hill. Okay, keep pushing. Buford, keep pushing. We'll let the skirmishers take the fire. I'm completely okay with that. And as soon as we get up there, I don't think we need to run because Davis looks like he's pulling back in another direction. I would like to get... Okay, these guys are targeting Davis. That's fine. Iron Brigade. Okay, Paul is going to get there. So you do this. You do this. Good. And we're hitting Davis when it counts. We need to keep this fire up against them. Okay, let's pause again. Make sure I'm getting all my troops up here. So where are you guys going? Why don't you head all the way up here? I think we'll be able to hold the rest of the line. Okay, there's no troops for Stewart to shoot at right now. So it's really hard for me to tell where the defilade is and where's the high ground. I'm guessing this is low ground? Does that make this high ground? I really can't tell though, unfortunately. Let's do our shift then. Cooper, move up here. That should be high ground. Should have some visibility there. And Stewart, why don't you move where Cooper was? Which should also be, you know, almost high ground. While there's no enemies facing you guys, it's a good time to move. Are you guys running? You are. It's good. I need you to run. And we're going to have Cutler's brigade charge. We're going to have them charge the skirmishers, who should be worn down by like the constant barrage here. Devon skirmishers are just going to hold Pettigrew off for a little bit while Paul gets into place. The Iron Brigade is in place, a little bit low on the coverage, but you know what? Pause. Cancel that order. Continue firing is fine. Let's move them, while they're reloading, let's have them move a little bit more into cover. Whoa, gentlemen, not forward, back. Okay, you guys are skirmishing with, like, everyone, basically. Okay, I need you guys to line up now. The skirmishers really should have been doing their number against the other skirmishers, but let's see. Pender's 3 brigades have been spotted along Chambersburg Pike. We are seriously outnumbered. Yeah, that's fine. It's a little bit too far away for us to really concern ourselves with. Davis is in full retreat. We hold the south very easily. So we're holding Seminary Ridge, no problem. You can see this is the Lutheran Seminary. And eventually that'll be a little bit confusing because we have Cemetery Hill over here. But that's okay. I'll just have to pronounce those two as differently as I can. Hess skirmishers have done a hell of a job. It looks like Cutler even launched his barrage against them. The good news is Devon skirmishers are going to be keeping Brockenburg occupied, and Paul, you guys have to rotate north. You just have to rotate north. Stephen, move back a little bit. Okay, pause there. Stop there. Iron Brigade, shift. Baxter, you guys are needed at a run, please. Turn and fire. Turn and fire. Everyone turn and fire. We should have good cover here. Okay, good. Ah, yes. Look at that. The numbers fall down to 1080. And they're still firing at our skirmishers, who are now in good cover on the top of the hill. So we finally, I think, defeated Hess skirmishers. Baxter's out of run. We're going to have him run to the top of the hill, unfortunately. That's not what he would like to do, I'm sure. But you know what? Actually, engage this gun. Ignore the skirmishers. No, no, no. What are you guys doing? Good God. Turn and face. You're being flanked. You guys make your run all the way through. We should be okay. Steven, I hope you're loading canister at this point. Oh my gosh, that was devastating. Oh my gosh, the canister shots. Holy cow. Oh my gosh, they're down to 900 men. They were just at 1,100. That's certainly going to cause them to fall back. Let's have these guys engage with canister. I'm not sure if they can, so we'll go back to auto. Let them do their own thing. I think we've managed to hold in the end. It was a very, very, very narrow hold. Let's engage here. Engage. 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 Don't worry about Brockenbow. You guys move forward and engage. The more fire we can put down on the enemy right now is obviously the better. Okay, we'll stop these guys from their run. The Hess skirmishers are just basically annihilated, so we'll get Cutler to turn where he is. He already is. Baxter, continue your push forward. Gamble's skirmishers move forward, engage. Okay, you guys are engaging Brockenbow. Wow. And they are very close. Definitely in range for a canister barrage. There, Stevens is taking... load! Load! Cutler's a little bit... Oh, 75% coverage. That's what I like to see. And you guys need to just pull up and engage these guns. We're almost done reloading and we can get a barrage. I was going to say a broadside. I've been playing too much Rule the Waves. We can get a barrage off on the McGraw troops here. Where's First Corps? Pause. We need First Corps up here. Obviously, this is where almost the entirety of the Confederate forces are landing. So much so that let's just get everybody up there. Okay, Stewart, Cooper, Reynolds, I want you to move forward so that you have a position to fire over the ridgetop. And because... No, it looks like they're holding Perrin in reserve. Perrin and Davis in reserve, which keeps me from actually moving my forces north. But we're going to be a little bit bold here. We're going to go and retake McPherson Ridge if we can, because this is such good defensive ground to hold. If the Bucktail Brigade can get there, and we'll get there at the run, it'll be an enormous task. An enormous victory. And to support them, why not? Let's move Riddle's brigade up as well. We can begin flanking. It's just going to give the Confederates something more to worry about. At the run. But let's not do Biddle at the run because I want them to arrive synchronized. So, yeah. And we'll leave the cannons where they are, which is, I think, an obvious decision. Stevens, just pull back a little bit. Go to auto-loading. One more barrage from Paul should be enough. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So Hall's still lighting them up. Baxter, just turn where you are. You're perfect. Just turn where you are. You guys were engaging here. Oh, they are actually shooting at McGraw. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Let's get our skirmishers. It looks like our skirmishers actually have to hold the middle area here, which is okay because that's the less valuable territory. The high ground and the huge forest on the hills, much more important. But we will get them. These guys can't focus on everywhere at once. Wow, they're really bringing their forces. Okay, so at the run now, we are flanking. We are absolutely flanking. We can see that the Confederate... It's very cool the way this game operates. You can see the smoke of the guns to give you an idea where the artillery is firing from, even if you can't see the guns themselves, which is pretty cool. Gives you an indication about where they might be. Now, I think we're in a really good position here. We just need Baxter to basically turn and face. We have First Corps heading up the ridgetop. Let's get all the vedettes. The Gambles have to hold here, so we'll have Buford. Well, he's pretty much fine where he is. First Corps will move up to help Baxter. Actually, First Corps is already in position, so that's really good. And the vedettes have now recovered condition, if not morale. Probably should send them on another raid towards the guns. Do we have a vedette down to the south? No. Brockenbow. Remember, this guy was at 1,100. He's already lost like 300 men. Good God. I like the fact that our Gamble skirmishers are taking a lot of the fire. It allows Cutler in his 75% cover. He should, by the way, not be moving. Just stay exactly where you are. Baxter should just be turning to face. Oh god, Gamble Skirmishers, what are you guys doing? That's a little bit too bold. Although Brockenbow, yeah, so we're getting them to turn and wheel. Yeah, let's go and hit them. Let's go and hit them from the rear. Don't run anymore. We need you to save your condition. Start advancing. Let's advance on their flank. I mean, obviously, if they're going to support, if they're going to push so hard here, we can't sit in our static positions. Be a massive mistake. So we will wheel on them. Pettigrew's already getting hit from like every side. Good. Pettigrew finally broke. Yeah, we're doing a fantastic job, I would say. It's all due to our really good coverage. It's extremely good coverage up here. Okay, vedettes, move out. We want you to go harass this battery here. I would like to send one. Oh wow, we're actually hitting Davis in the flank. Okay, move forward. Biddle, move forward. You won't be in coverage, but you can just hit their flank. In fact, Iron Brigade, move out. Counterattack. We're counterattacking, boys. Move out. Okay, more rebel artillery spotted at Hare's Ridge. Yeah, but I don't know what we can really do about that. I'd like to charge them with skirmishers. I'd really like them to charge them with cavalry, but we're just going to move into position and attempt to flank the Confederate forces here. They might actually be close enough for us to engage, but I don't want to take canister. That's like the death of us will be to take canister fire. So this as long as our, this is now the pivot point, and we're wheeling around that. It looks like things are going our way as well, because these are weaker forces. Brockenbow, remember, he just got smashed. Davis earlier was just gobbled up. Wasn't Davis originally at 2,000 men? So we're just going to advance along the flank. They've done this to themselves. I would prefer to sit in my entrenched positions and just let the ocean roll against the waves, which we would easily beat them off with. But, I mean, if we were stationary, we'd easily beat them off. But they've basically forced my hand into this. And I don't think they are entirely happy with their decision. We're going to be able to hit Pettigrew from the rear. We're folding up their flank, as long as our flank holds. So it's really, this is it. Everything's now happening. It's the crucial moment. We're going to have Biddle charge Brockenbow because they're routing already. Pettigrew's attacking from the rear. Paul, move forward. Take this little... This is slightly better coverage, this area here. Advance. Everyone advance. We're folding up their flank. Go ahead and, when you're about to fire, go ahead and fire at Brockenbow. What can just completely eliminate their forces. Oh boy, we're taking canister fire. No. Charge. Okay, fall back. We just took too much fire from these guns. You guys are ready, so charge. Okay, good. We're retreating there. That is the intelligent thing to do, of course. Paul is wrapping up, and these guys are ready to charge the two guns here. You guys need to hold the flank. Okay, skirmishers up to the north, as well with, where's Buford? Did I get him? No. I think I got him. Let's move these guys up here. Good. Move up to the north. Support our flank. Okay, we're now charging. Pettigrew's routing. On to Perrin. We're folding up their flank. This is great. That's fine, Biddle. We understand that you need to, pull back. I put you in a tough situation. Just making sure I'm not being attacked. So their guns are moving up to the south. Very interesting. They're folding up our flank with their guns. I've never seen this tactic used before. Now we do have obviously some Confederate forces out to the west we'll have to be very careful of. But I think that overall things have gone extremely well for us. We were able to hold the really well defensible position. And now we keep folding up their flank one after the other. Whoops, no. Who are you? Cutler, hold where you are. Don't move. Okay, Paul, hold where you are. We're getting a little bit low on conditioning, which means you don't want to move too much more. So I think these guys are charging the guns, which is totally okay. I think they're charging the guns, right? They should be. You guys are shooting at Perrin? Yes, that's good. So we should be able to wipe out those guns very quickly. And then after that, we're going to wipe out the guns here. Looks like we're doing that. Okay, let's fall back now, though, because with the damage done... Okay, let's fire one more time. I'm going to eliminate that gun. Good. Now fall back because condition is down to 0. And now they're... Okay, engage, engage, engage. So we're in decent cover here. Gonna have these guys fall back, though. Wait. Just because they're just taking fire from the guns. We might as well just get out of position. And we have Davis up there because that's Davis who reformed. This is actually perfect. I think we've done a really good job. Just constantly confuse their forces. So the battle's about to end. I think we did a really good job. We held, obviously the main thing is we held our objectives. Okay, return to our defensive positions. We're still giving Perrin what for. It would have been nice to get a gun over there. Advance a little bit. Yeah, this was really, really, really solid. Okay, there it is. So, I have to say, personally, I've done much better than this in terms of a loss ratio. My best attempt was almost 3-to-1 in losses. So we did take some pretty substantial losses, which I'm a little disappointed by. But we did hold the objective, and it's still a major victory. The start to this was just atrocious. We had a horrible start where they really pushed to Oak Hill very quickly, and it took me a long time to react. But that's good. So let's see. Let's go into the statistics. So it's about 2-to-1. I mean, 5,000 to 2,800. 2,500 would have been exactly 2-to-1. Davis's brigade, okay, they were actually really good at killing 1,000 of my troops. I think that's mostly skirmishers, though. So I'm pretty sure a lot of our regular groups performed pretty well. So let's see. Iron Brigade took 350 losses. Cutler 350, but killed 1,000. Iron Brigade, oh my god. 1,000. They killed 1,000 people. Wow. They killed as many units as they have remaining. As many men. Davis's brigade did take about 50% casualties, but they also killed about 1,000 men themselves. Paul's brigade. So our skirmishers did a pretty good job, but this is where I'm talking about. We probably suffered a lot of... This is about 50% casualties with our skirmishers. So, anyway, that's going to do it for this video. In the next video, we got to decide our strategy. I mean, I think we can just do continue. I don't have any other save games, so it'll put us right to this. So we got to decide our strategy. Do we want to protect Oak Hill? Do we withdraw to Seminary Ridge? Or do we just ignore Oak Hill but defend north of town? So this is one extreme where we go far north. This is another extreme where we pull back even from Oak Ridge, because this one has us holding Oak Hill and Oak Ridge. This one has us not holding any of the oaks, and this one has us ignore Oak Hill but hold Oak Ridge. So I don't know, this is a tough decision. I'll have to make that. We can read the briefing for each of these at the beginning of next episode. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving me the thumbs up, just because this is the first video in a series. So pressing a like on the video really helps my the viewing capabilities, or what am I trying to say? The ability for it to be searched for. It'll come up easier on the YouTube search queries. So just for the first episode, if you wouldn't mind pressing the like button, I would greatly appreciate it. You won't hear any more about that from me. If you're a veteran to this channel, you already know that. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you back for the next part of Day 1 of Ultimate General Gettysburg.